Is the music that you're dancing to starting to feel stale, or are you just kind of looking to diversify and find some new sounds or some new artists to add to your playlist? If that's you, you've come to the right place. I'm gonna put you on with 5 artists that I personally dance to and that have been super influential in various ways to me in my dance journey. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. When it comes to music when I'm dancing, I feel like I'm constantly trying to manage the tension between stuff that I like listening to and stuff that I like dancing to, and trying to push myself to explore new sounds and new artists that could potentially open my mind to new sounds and new ways of moving. I've always been more of a classic hip-hop guy and typically go for more of that boom bap sound. So naturally, 90s and 80s hip-hop has a very heavy influence on my musical palette. I got a couple of 90s hip-hop albums that I'm going to recommend to you guys today. But over the last couple of years, I've become more acquainted with some different sounds and some different artists that have honestly been super influential in my dance journey, and so I just want to share them with you guys so that you can spice up your playlist a little bit if they're feeling dull. I know exactly how that is, so feel free to check out these artists if you haven't already. I'm also going to recommend you guys one album for each artist, so let's just go ahead and hop into the first one. Now, the first artist that I want to recommend to you guys is a hip-hop group known as Slum Village. These guys were a part of the Soulquarian movement in hip-hop. If you don't know anything about that, super fascinating stuff. They have such specific textures and sonics within their music that really make it fun to dance to, and I personally really like moving to their stuff. An album that I would recommend of theirs is just one of their most popular albums, Fantastic Volume 2. This album has such a cohesive vibe, and I've just turned it on and had an entire session to it before. So if you're looking for some 90s hip-hop with a little bit more of a refined tone to it, I definitely recommend that you check out Slum Village, specifically the Fantastic Volume 2, and also just everything else that they got going on. And that'll do it for our first artist. The second artist that I'm going to recommend to you guys is the artist and producer known as Pete Rock. Pete Rock is an MC and a producer. He's produced for just about anybody that you can think of in the 90s hip-hop world, and a lot of his stuff for me is super fun to dance to. I'm not necessarily going to Pete Rock for super loud, super high energy tracks. I'm more so going to him for a little bit more of a chilled out, laid back vibe that I can really groove to and just easily connect to some classic hip-hop production. One album that I would specifically recommend from Pete Rock is an album titled Center of Attention. Same with Slum Village. I've turned this album on numerous times whenever I'm just wanting to have a session. There's really no skips on it, and if you're just looking for that classic 90s hip-hop boom bap vibe, this is definitely your guy. So go and check him out. That's going to do it for our second artist. The third artist that I'm going to recommend today is a little bit of a switch up from the other two, but this artist specifically has been super influential to me in the past couple of years, and they've kind of played a big part in expanding my taste of what I like to listen and dance to when it comes to music. And that artist is Kaytranada. If you've never heard of Kaytranada, I definitely recommend that you go and check him out. He's an incredible producer, and his music has such a unique feel to it. His sound is almost like a blend between classic hip-hop and house music. And one of the things that's so cool about that, and that has been so influential to me in my own dance journey, is that it's helped me to sort of expand my movement vocabulary, or to not feel so limited to one specific vocabulary or method of moving when I'm listening to any given type of music. Because his stuff is a little bit more of a fusion, I can experiment with doing more housey vocabulary while at the same time still integrating my knowledge of hip-hop foundation. All in all, he's just an amazing artist, and he makes some really great stuff. I definitely recommend that you guys go and check him out. He's played a big part in expanding my musical palette when it comes to dance and just the music that I listen to. Specifically, I'm gonna recommend to you guys the album 99%, although I definitely recommend that you check out everything else that he's got going on. And that's gonna do it for our third artist today. My legs can't take anymore. The fourth artist that we're gonna talk about today is an artist known by the name of Who Is JK. Now, if you're into the battle scene at all, whether you're talking about competitions like Summer Dance Forever or Red Bull Dance Your Style, you've probably heard tracks produced by this artist and actually the next artist that we're going to talk about. Who Is JK is a producer and dancer from Ukraine, and the music that he produces has become increasingly popular, specifically in the hip-hop battle scene. Battle tracks or beat flips have become increasingly popular over the years. In many ways, they sort of emulate that classic boom bap sound, but with different percussion, meaning different drums, different sounds, melodies, and different BPMs generally. This type of music typically sounds pretty distorted and even a little bit dark, so it's definitely not for everybody. I personally find it fun every once in a while, but I definitely would choose that classic hip-hop sound over this any day. Still, it's a super fun and unique sound. I think it could really spice up your playlist, and for me, one of the things that I feel that listening to this music has done is it's forced me to take some of the vocabulary and the understanding of hip-hop foundation that I already have and just look at it a little bit differently. In the same way that this music almost emulates that classic hip-hop sound, but it's just a little bit different, I have to look at my understanding of classical hip-hop foundation and sort of change or manipulate the way that I utilize those concepts to match this music or to dance to it better. And so in that way, I feel that this music has sort of expanded my view of what is possible with my current understanding of foundation. And it's also shown me different ways that I can sort of play around with or manipulate the foundation knowledge that I already have. And I also think that it's helped me in my understanding of the battle scene and introduced me to so many dope dancers. So I definitely recommend you checking him out. Don't necessarily have a specific album to recommend to you guys. He's got some great stuff that you can dig through and just sort of feel out what you like the best. One of his most popular tracks is a song titled IJWR. You'll know what it means when you hear it. But that is going to do it for our fourth artist today. And then our fifth and final artist that we're going to be talking about today is known by the name of Tella X. Much like the last artist that we just talked about, Tella X's music is super prominent in the hip-hop battle scene. If you keep up with the battle scene at all, more than likely you've heard one of his tracks being played. His signature sound has fast become a staple in the battle dance community. It's super fun music to dance to, and it's just a little bit of a different flavor. I feel like my understanding of musicality and rhythm has been challenged when I've danced to his stuff. So I definitely recommend that you check him out. Same as before, don't necessarily have a specific album that I would recommend for you guys. His albums for 6 Diff or for 6 Diff 2 are really great. I would more specifically recommend you guys 2 specific tracks, one by the title of Real South and the other by the title of Aliens vs. Monsters. I feel like those tracks are a great intro to him as an artist, and likely, like I said, if you know anything about the battle scene, you've probably already heard them. So definitely go and check him out. And that is going to be our 5th and final artist that we're going to be talking about today. I want to thank you guys so much for your time and watching this video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end if you made it this far. If you guys would like more music themed videos, definitely be sure to comment down below. I've got a lot more that I could talk about on this topic, and so let me know if this is something that you guys would like to see more of. I hope that these artists will help to spice up or just sort of revive the music that you're dancing to. Like I said, all of these artists have been influential to me in different times and in different ways in my dance journey, so I just wanted to share them with you guys. If I had a piece of advice or recommendation to leave you guys with, I would simply say to not be closed off to things that you may not be super familiar with right now. I'm talking to myself there. I'm definitely a person who likes what they like in music and sometimes may not stray very far from that. But in the last couple of years, as I've sort of expanded my palette a little bit, I feel that I've learned so much about different types of music and rhythms that has been super influential to me in my dance journey. So if I had one piece of advice, I would simply say to not be afraid to listen to some new stuff and to even challenge yourself to listen to stuff that you may not super like right now. I promise you that even if you don't love the music, there's something that you can learn from it. And even if you don't listen to the artist ever again, I think it's worth at least giving it a chance and exposing your brain to some new sounds and some new information. I want to encourage you guys to go and check out The Shed on Instagram and TikTok, and also to click the first link in the description to go check out The Shed on Patreon. Lots of super exciting stuff coming up on there very soon. Comment down below any questions you guys might have, and reach out to me on any of those platforms. I'd love to connect with you guys. I want to thank you guys again for your continued support of me and this channel, and for your time and watching this video. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace out.